Was Tyrese Maxey snubbed?
You are Locked On 76ers, your daily Philadelphia 76ers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On 76ers. I'm your co-host, Keith Pompey, along with my right-hand man, John Mitchell. We want to thank y'all for making Locked On 76ers your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Now do it today, people. Definitely listen to us today. So I just had to say that. I don't know why I'm being silly this morning. Huh?
Absolutely do it today.
Yeah, absolutely do it today. Now, look, here's the deal, y'all. We got a lot to talk about today. First thing, as you noticed when we started off, I asked the question, was Tyrese Maxey snubbed? I don't think he was. I just don't. And I just want to explain why. I think he had a great season, but we'll talk about that. And we're talking about snubbed in regards to all NBA. And then the second segment is we're going to talk about, I got a question. My man Larry hit me up, and Larry via email, and he raised a very important question. He was like, why are we going star hunting? Like everybody wants to get a third star. He says, and this team looks good when they have the starters in, when they're healthy. He says right now it looks like the team needs some depth and they need a backup center just in case of Embiid. So we'll talk about that. And thirdly, let's just talk a little bit more about the Paul George situation. Like right now, my man Mitch knows that every day you wake up is a different storyline. It's like, oh, Paul is definitely coming to Philly. Oh, no, Paul is not coming to Philly. And the truth of the matter is, y'all, the Clippers, if the Clippers give him an extra year, Paul will probably most likely stay in LA, right? If they give him more money than Kawhi, an extra year. If not, he'll most likely come to Philadelphia. That's just how it is. The Sixers are willing to give him an extra year. So that's what we'll talk about. But from the gate, Mitch, I want your opinion, man. Tyrese didn't make the All-NBA team, and do you think that he was robbed?
No, I think
that was quick. He said no.
And I hate to agree. There is an argument, and you want some static and some friction between folks, but obviously we bypass the first and second team because he's not even in a conversation for that. And then you kind of move, you move to the third team, and should he been in front of Devin Booker? That's debatable. Stephen Curry, Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think he goes. I don't think he goes ahead of Stephen Curry this year. And also there's the legacy vote. There are people who've cast ballots for all NBA. And I know when I used to cast my ballot for, I used to cast sometimes on legacy votes. When Tyrese wins the most improved player, very deservedly so, that's a step. That's a step for a 23-year-old ascending player. And a guy who, although we're saying, I'm saying he doesn't belong on that team, it's debatable. But if I have my druthers, I'm okay with him not making it. And, as a fan of the team, in a world where we look for motivation, in a world where after games we look to pin the blame, that's the primary responsibility of talking heads and reporters now. Remember, and once upon a time, it was like to be down the middle, which you still are, Keith, which makes you one of the best reporters in this league. But now everything is about ascribing blame, for why somebody didn't get there, and finding a reason why. And the reason, if you can ascribe blame for Tyrese, and in this context, it's because he just doesn't have the legacy. He doesn't have the legacy. But the guys who made it ahead of him are legit. There are legit arguments to be made.
Yeah, excuse me. You're right. legit arguments to be made, and just so for people who don't know, I'm not going to give you now, even though the All NBA thing right now is basically based off of it's basically based off of non-position, like it's positionless basketball. But I'm just going to give you the guards who made it. The first team guards were, of course, Luka Doncic and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Now, I'm just going to say this, just a little sidebar. Like, dude, this is like the third or fourth year in a row, maybe fifth. There's only one American-born player made the team, right? And again, it was Jason Tatum who did it again last year, right? So it's the European players and the African players are basically dominating the league. Yeah. And when it comes down to that. So going back to the guards, you got SGA and you got Luka, first team. So second team, you got Jalen Brunson and you got Ant-Man. Now, I don't think anyone's going to argue with either one. There may be some people who say Ant-Man may have deserved to be number one, right? First team, right? Based off of his postseason performance. I don't think he should have been. I think he's where he is. But then on the third team, you got three guards. You have Tyrese Halliburton. You have Steph Curry, legacy guy, but also had a great season. And then you had Devin Booker. And there are certain people who thought that maybe Maxey deserved to be on there above Booker based off of looking at like what Maxey did and this and that. And it's a great argument. But when you look at it, Booker played 2 less games than Maxey, but Booker averaged more points, more rebounds, and more assists. Now, it was all close. But when we look at Book, Book became a point guard just like Maxey became a point guard. But where Maxey was always a combo, Book was like a bona fide 2. Right. And he averaged 27.1 points compared to 25.9 to Maxey. He averaged 4.5 rebounds compared to 3.7 to Maxey. And he averaged 6.9 assists compared to 6.2 to Maxey. And to me, when you look and you see a guy like Jaylen Brown, who, was all NBA last year, a perennial all-star, didn't make it, I kind of knew that Maxey wasn't going. And I mean, he's a 3-time all-star, but, 3 times recently, been on that list, and you look at his numbers. His number was 23 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3.6 assists. He shot 35.4% from the field. And you look at him and you see that he didn't make it. You kind of figured it was going to be hard because he doesn't have the ball in his hands as much as Maxey, right? So now the financial ramifications, yes, Maxey is not going to get that super max. He's going to lose some money because of that. But at the same time,
back to the poorhouse.
Back here. Dude about to get I know that's the crazy part. He's about to get a max.
Yeah.
He's just not going to get a super max. And the funny part is, not funny, but the thing is, a lot of people are saying, oh, he was, gypped out of some cash. I just felt like, unfortunately for him, it was just too deep. So now what he can get is, because of that, right? Maxey can command now is 5 years, $204.5 million. If he would have got all NBA, he would have got 5 years, $245.3 million. So he lost $40 million essentially. But
he's still got a power. His next contract should just say Powerball.
Powerball. Yeah, next contract is just
they have a hard time living off of that.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's crazy. And it's funny for a guy, he's gonna make all that money, and his cap hold is only for like 13 million right now, right? But he's gonna like way surpass that. Like what was it, the first season? How much is he gonna make? His cap hold is for 13, but he's gonna make 30 something million his first year. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, wow. Tobias is probably like, well, what about me? Yeah, his first year he's gonna make 35.2 mil. Second year he's gonna make 38.07. Third year he's gonna make 40.8 mil. The fourth year 43.7 mil. And then the fifth year is going to be $46.53 million.
Man,
Life is good.
life is very, very good, and we can talk about that a little bit more and rebuilding this roster in the next segment. Right now, I want to talk to folks about LinkedIn. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. Let me tell you something. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than a billion, not that's billion with a B, professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. It gives you access to professionals you can't find anywhere else. LinkedIn does all that while making the process easy and intuitive. Hiring is easy when you have that many quality candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. They did it today. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnba to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Do you sometimes have to turn that volume down with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports today brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every single solitary day.
Do it today, people. Definitely do it today. I see how you put that in there. They did it today.
They did it today.
I saw that. But look, so here's the thing. I'm gonna read this off. I got an email from a reader, nice guy. We've been communicating for years, and he's a young man who moved out of the area in the '80s, man, and but he's still a diehard 76ers fan. And he posed this question. He says, "Please educate me on why the Sixers need a third superstar. When the first team is on the floor, the Sixers consistently are equal to any other team or better. I think the Sixers would be better off rounding out their team, getting three good players to go with the two superstars. Kelly Oubre seems one. He agrees with DeAnthony Melton's back being a big concern, as we mentioned. Back issues don't go away. He says, I don't see him in the Sixers' future. In addition, the Sixers' second team has been awful. First, they need a good second center who can give Embiid minutes off the bench, and second team players who can at least stay even with the team's second team. Why spend so much money on an Asian superstar and wind up with a weak bench? That's the $1 million question. And it's funny. A couple of days ago on Instagram and on Facebook, I posted a picture of the 76ers late season starting lineup in 2000, the 2000 and 2001 season, and it said, hey, look, this is a team that got them to the playoffs. Now, it didn't have Aaron McKee on there, who was the second best scorer. And, just because he just wasn't in the lineup, the starting lineup. But, he was sixth man of the year. But, you look at it and that team had depth. You can argue that it was a different era, this and that. And so when Larry poses this question, it's a question a lot of people want to know, because Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid were the top scoring tandem in the NBA for most of the season. Their problem was they didn't have a backup center.
Right.
Nor did they have anybody coming off the bench able to be produced. Now, the reason why, if we're going to be honest, that they want to go after a third star is two reasons. One is you stagger lineups, and you need somebody, and you need a quality wing that they feel like who can distribute and handle the ball. But another reason that we can't doubt is Daryl Morey loves star hunting. The Sixers love star hunting. You know what I mean? Daryl Morey, when he was in Houston, he always tried to pair James Harden against an elite with another elite player. Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, what's the center who played for the Sixers? Man, his name escapes me. He started out with Orlando and then went to the Lakers and Kobe. Dwight Howard. So he does all this stuff. So he is the master of certain stars.
Yeah.
But you are right in the fact that the Sixers need more than that, right?
Yeah.
They need that. So, Larry, I agree with you. But at the same time, the one thing that I will say is if you do get a Paul George, and he is old, but if you do get a Paul George, I think that he will alleviate some of the ball handling duties because he's a good passer, right? I'm not saying he's a point guard, but he's a good passer. He's a better passer than Embiid. He's a better passer than Maxey. But when you stagger the lineups, you don't have to worry about what happens when Embiid comes off the floor. He's going to be able to become a scorer. He's going to be able to do the things that they expected Tobias Harris to do.
Correct.
So that's what I think. That's my take. Your opinions, Mitch.
Yeah, and I think it was an excellent question. But like you said, you want, when Embiid is off, because they were horrible in the playoffs without Embiid on the floor. You want that guy on the floor who can bridge you the time between Embiid being off the floor and Embiid being on the floor. And again, it is a league of stars. I'm watching the Dallas game, the Dallas Minnesota last night. The stars came out for Dallas last night. Kyrie, Luka, they came out. And they're stars. Although while Kyrie is starting to get up there, he's still in his prime. Good Lord, is he in his prime? And you've got to have star power. Unfortunately, I hear what he's saying because there's always a mix of Embiid now is at 30, and big men typically don't get healthier as they get older and heavier, which is why we all want to see a 275, 270-pound Joel Embiid at the start of training camp. But do you build that roster out? You're going to have to at some point. If you go out, and I agree that they need to get a start. They can't come back here having gotten bounced in the first round, taking a step backwards and coming back here with less talent. So you have to get that star, and you're kind of a victim of when you have your money's available to you. And again, it's that LeBron James thing, and who was third team All NBA, who finished ahead of the guys they're considering, Butler and Paul George on the All NBA team. But I definitely get his point about building the roster. And again, we've thrown out the names of all these players who are potential 76ers and current 76ers. The man who holds the key to the ignition is Daryl Morey. And he has to he's got to consider everything we're talking about casually. He's got to consider all those things and why he got an extension as a general manager and put that stuff in application and answer his question. You got to build a roster out. The teams that are, I was looking at the Mavs, Derek Lively coming off the bench, local boy, they got two local boys coming, playing for them. One of them starting. So you've got to build out the roster, and at the same time, you got to have stars, because stars will get you and advance you in the playoffs. Excuse me for being long-winded.
Nah, you weren't being long-winded. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. You need the stars, but at the same time, you do need to build that bench. But if you get that one star, and I get it, 34, this and that, and I do think a lot of it is, the Sixers are focused on winning now. Like, they got to get this now. Like, they got to get this now. But, you are right. Like it is the changing of the guard, right? It is. So we can't say that. But the two old head guards. Well, I don't even consider Luka old though. But
No, it's just
and
slow.
I don't
He
care. Yeah, I
plays
don't
slow.
consider Kyrie old either. But yeah,
Right.
yeah,
They're,
you're right.
they're guys who are in early they're in their primes. These guys
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
in their prime.
yeah.
Yeah. And we can talk about this a little bit more when we get back from our break. Right now I want to talk to folks about better health. We all carry around different stressors. They're big and they're small. And when you keep them bottled up, they can start to affect us negatively. There's a safe space to get things off your chest and to figure out how to work through whatever's wearing you down. And who knows what it is? It's the changing of the seasons. It's getting ready to be hot outside. Sometimes, believe it or not, sometimes people get depressed during the summer. But if you're thinking about therapy, and you should, just to get you through some of these rough times, think about BetterHelp. Give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. BetterHelp is flexible. It's for you when you need to go there and suited to your schedule. And all they're going to do is ask you to fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched up with a licensed therapist and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. So get it off your chest with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedonnba to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedonnba. Do
Do
it.
it today, people.
You need to. Don't play around with the mental. Don't
Yeah,
play with
don't
the
do that. That's not serious. Not
mental.
serious. Yeah, it's serious. Don't do that. So we talk about PG, right? Paul George, and he's one of the guys that everybody talking about, 34. He's the star, the guy that the Sixers want. And every day, man, something different.
Yeah.
One day it's like, oh, Paul George is definitely coming to the Sixers. The next day, it's like, oh no, he's gonna go, he's staying with the Clippers. Now, to me, I just want to enlighten you. Here's the deal. The Clippers made an offer for Paul George, 3 years, whatever it was. It's less than the money, from what I hear, less than the money that they offered Kawhi, right? Paul George wants to get, Paul George is eligible to get a 4-year deal from that team for $221 million. From what I hear is he wants to make, more years. He wants that. The Clippers are only willing to give him 3, right? The Sixers will be willing to give a max player what they want. So for them to get him to come here to Philly, he would be eligible to get 4 years, $212 million, right?
Right.
Now, right now, the Clippers are claiming that they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that. But the thing that's tricky is the fact that Kawhi is injured and you don't know how Kawhi is going to deal with this injury moving forward. He's getting older.
Rest.
You got to rest it.
Rest.
But if you're trying to get a new facility, you go into a new arena. You're going to bring back James Harden, this and that. So if Kawhi is resting, if Kawhi, you don't know how many games he's going to be healthy moving forward. Because let's think about it. Kawhi, we remember that season with the Spurs when he didn't really play, right?
Yeah.
So the deal is, if you're the Clippers, do you say Paul is serious about going to Philly?
You have to
We
consider.
we don't know what Kawhi is going to do. We got to give him that extra year. So to me, I think that we're going to hear a lot of stuff going back and forth, but it's going to be something that they got up until June the 29th to decide on what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, it's kind of sort of like, that's over a month, y'all. That's a month and 6 days.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is, like, that's when we really know. Until then, we're going to hear back and forth, back and forth. But if he does come to the Philly, that's trying to tell me that's telling us that they didn't want to do it. Because let's face it, he's an LA guy
Yeah.
at home. They're banking on him taking less years to stay at home. But he's telling them, if you don't give me more money or more years, I'm out.
Yeah.
So that's where it is, Mitch.
Yeah.
That's where it is in my
And I don't blame him one damn bit, man. For these guys, I say, look, get all the money you can. Be as greedy. I mean, your owner is worth $80 billion. You know, so and they did bring him home to LA, and that's where he wanted to be. But I think he's probably at the point. I mean, these guys go through different stages in their careers where, especially LA players, James Harden was dying to go back to LA. Lots of Kawhi dying to go back to LA for whatever reason. And my whole thing has been, when you make that kind of money, I play for the Alaska pole dogs, sled dogs for that kind of money. So if I think that it's not going to be easy as people think, because he still played at an elite level this past season, and they were not able to count on. Although, he's injury prone, he's become injury prone in the last 5 years of his career. So, but you can't count on Kawhi. You can't count on him consistently. And they want to remain as competitive as possible. I think that people look at that team at the start, once they got rolling, once Harden got acclimated to that team and they started playing better, people said, yeah, this is a team that can do some damage in the playoffs. But it turns out that they didn't. So, yeah, he might be due for a change of scenery now, and maybe it's time for him to pass on a Roscoe's chicken and waffle and come out here and get a Max's or a Delisandro's cheesesteak, and add that to his dining.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of it. And the one thing that they got to be, I guess, nervous about is, like, the longer you wait, then maybe the kid will say, you know what, y'all should have gave me the money from the gate.
You don't want me.
I would have stayed. But so we'll see. I mean, he has options, but it's basically a lot of it's going to depend on what they decide they want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes down to it, that's what a lot of it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
So
and you that's an extra year, about $50 million, right?
Yeah. Well, no. Oh, yeah. About that. Yeah, about that. Yeah, about that 50. But it's weird because, you look at it and you say 4 years, 221, 4 years, 212. You know what I mean? So it's like, they can offer him a max. The max is because it's like a 38 rule, whatever. Guys who are going to be older than 38 and want it. But yeah, the max is only like $9 million more. So it's like, if y'all don't give me it, then I'll go to Philly and get $9 million less. So for him, to me and you, like, that's the Tyrese Maxey type thing. For me and you, $9 million. Woo, there's a lot we can do with it. But these guys, it's only $9 million. Like, huh? Like, so it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see.
It's going to be interesting, man. And it also depends on, and maybe we can talk about this later on. Is Joel Embiid a magnet for free agents, man? Because you look at him and say, I'd like to end my career with a title, but can I do it with a guy who just played 39 games, the previous season?
Yeah, that'd be a good subject to talk about tomorrow for our next podcast. So, yeah, I really would like to tackle that one. So, make sure y'all come back and y'all listen to that so we can talk about it. But look, y'all, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on the Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channel app. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On Plus, our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channels app. And again, We're going to talk about if this is a great place, Joel attracting free agents. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But I want to thank y'all for joining, and we'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Peace out.